Hi, Mitchell Lee, Tommy Grant, Brandon 2. We're talking Indiana Jones, press play action, Jersey Nerds, all that other crap. Brandon's basically giving his review before we give the review, so that's why I'm a little peeved. You know I don't like that, Brandon. Hold some of the cards close to the chest before we go on the air for the good people. Anyway, guys, it's time. We've reached that point in the Spielberg. We're actually back to talking about Steven fucking Spielberg as opposed to whatever jackoff made Jaws the Revenge and Jaws 3. This Jaws 3, Jaws at SeaWorld or whatever the hell that was called. But yeah, I'm excited to actually be talking about the person that we're supposed to be talking about. And I know that you guys feel the same way because Indiana Jones is one of the biggest and most beloved franchises to an extent, but we will talk about the extent next week. We're not talking about that, old man Harrison Ford just yet. We're going to talk about Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, and Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, the Indiana Jones movies that came out in the 80s. A lot of people say they don't claim the other two movies. This is the official trilogy. We'll give our thoughts and opinions on all of that in its totality next week. But guys, let's start things off with, and I want to go ahead and get this out of the way right now because this has pissed me off for the longest time because autism, baby. I definitely have a pet peeve. Whenever I hear anyone call this movie Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, no, fuck you. That's not the name of the damn movie. The movie is called Raiders of the Lost Ark. Every other movie has Indiana Jones in front of it, but when this movie was released, it was called Raiders of the Lost Ark. That's what the movie's called. That's what I'm calling it. Fuck you. That's what I'm calling it.
I'll be honest. I'm one of those people. I actually didn't realize until rewatching it for the 100th time this weekend that it's not Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Now you can be correct.
Well, I always called it Raiders of the Lost Ark, but I just always assumed Indiana Jones was in front of it. So
Yeah.
And I was like,
I think what happened is
Indiana Jones in front of it.
They made this movie. It was a slap. It was a hit. And then they were like, we got to put Indiana Jones in front of all the titles.
Exactly. Yes. That is exactly what happened. But that didn't happen the first time around. Like, for example, they didn't call it A New Hope. It was just Star Wars when Star Wars happened.
But it was good enough that Steven Spielberg actually came back to direct the sequels, which I think is this the only.
Oh, he knew. He was
set of movies that he actually came back to do a sequel for.
Out of all the Spielberg it might movies. Be. I think he has like one other sequel, right, Mitchell? It's like one other sequel, and that's it.
I'm trying to think of his movies. I can't think of any off the top of my head.
I don't think he does sequels.
I mean, there was Lincoln 2, Night on the Town. No, I'm just kidding. Let me see.
To your point, I don't think he does sequels. Is like what you're getting at.
He produced a bunch of sequels, but directing is a different animal altogether. And let me just make sure. No, like he did Lost World Jurassic Park. He did the second Jurassic Park. We should know this because we just did this. But that's the only other sequel that he did that was not Indiana Jones. And after that second Jurassic Park, he said, "Fuck it, I'm out."
Yeah, I think he just knew that like.
I needed to get my Saving Private Ryan funding.
Yeah, most sequels aren't good, but you could legitimately argue that like he knew what he had. Yeah,
because like not only did he do a sequel, he came back for the third movie and he came back for the fourth movie. Then he stopped.
Yes, he did.
Well, he stopped because he probably thought because
he saw the fourth movie and went, "What the hell have I done?"
Yeah, he probably thought the story had ran out, but I'll give Steven that credit. Is Spielberg knows when he knows when he has a story. A personal friend.
You run into him at the post office.
I feel like I know him because he knows when he has a good story, and he knows when he doesn't, and he calls it quits before he has a bad story on his hand that he continues to run to the ground. So I will give him credit for that, and that is why he's one of the greatest directors of all time. And we'll get into it with this movie because Raiders of the Lost Ark is a classic. Let's just throw it out there. But yeah, go ahead, Mitchell, and break down this movie a little bit for us.
Yeah, Steven Spielberg directed. George Lucas involved with the story
Yep.
for this one. This stars Harrison Ford, Karen Allen, Paul Freeman, Ronald Lacey, John Rhys Davies, and Denholm Elliott. Came out June 12th, 1981 on a $20 million budget. This made $389 million worldwide, and it was the highest grossing domestic movie of 1981. So I'm going to ask a question that none of you motherfuckers are going to get correct, I guarantee, without the help of Google. What was the number 2 highest grossing movie domestically of 1981? You
I
will
mean,
not get this correct. I'll
yeah.
give you a hint that won't help at all. Number 3 was Superman 2.
Oh, okay. Well, probably would have guessed Superman 2, so I guess that takes it off. I mean, the Halloween movies definitely did not, so
No.
But I'm
I'm
looking.
just gonna go Bond movie, For Your Eyes Only, but
Nope, that was number
No.
7.
okay.
The only other movie on this list that like I've heard of before that aren't horror related is it Escape from New York?
No, it is not Escape from New York. And
Damn.
did that come out in 1980? Yeah, it did come out in 1981. No, it's a movie called On Golden Pond.
Yep, would have
I
not
think it was a
known
Jane Fonda movie. Came out in 1981. Big awards player. Made $119 million. Raiders of the Lost Ark made $212 in North America. Again, in 1981. So that's a lot of money. This thing, again, this was...
Did the first the Amateur come out? I think that like they obviously did the remake this year, but did like the first one of that come out? I think that came out in 81 too. So sorry, I just
I didn't know
sidetracked.
that was a remake.
But yeah, that's apparently a remake. So anyway, to expand on that, there are no original ideas in Hollywood. But Indiana
Not
Jones
anymore, but there
sounds
used
like
to
an
be.
original idea. So yeah, I
Well,
guess
it's an
that was my
adventure
thought.
movie, and this was coming off of Jaws and Close Encounters of the Third Kind. This
Mhm.
was the movie that, Jaws was kind of the, I guess, the Dark Knight. And if we're talking comparison to Nolan, Jaws was the one that everyone was like, oh, we have to go and see that. This was his Inception, where,
Oh, interesting.
this guy can create something totally new and entertaining, and anything that this guy makes from here on out is something that we absolutely have to line up to go see, because not only was this a giant success, it's a fantastic movie. I'm not going to be like, oh, maybe I don't like the movie. No, if you don't like Indiana Jones, or sorry, if you don't like Raiders of the Lost Ark, then you're an asshole. You're an asshole. It is what it is. This was nominated for Best Picture. It was nominated for Best Director. You suck. Best Film Editing, Best Visual Effects, Best Sound, Best Art Direction.
I'm assuming
This
it didn't win all
movie-
those awards, but yeah, it should
No,
have
it won
nominated.
those.
It
won
was
the- it won
nominated,
Best
it was
Picture.
nominated for 9 and it won 5.
Okay, good, because it should
It
have,
lost-
because it was that
it
good.
lost to Chariots of Fire
Uh,
for Best Picture, a movie I haven't seen, but is regarded as one of the worst Best Picture winners as far as I've heard.
It's like Crash, right? Like similar vibes.
It's maybe not quite that extreme, but it's in that category. Raiders of the Lost Ark would have been a really fun Best Picture winner, because I think that this is the adventure movie that all other adventure movies for the last 45 years have tried to be. Everything from the other Indiana Jones movies to stuff like National Treasure or the Tom Hanks movies
Mission
based on the
Impossible.
Dan Brown book. I
Da
don't know
Vinci
so much
Code.
about Mission Impossible, but yeah, the Da Vinci Code movies.
Okay,
I think
yeah.
that a lot of those movies that try to use, like, maybe not archaeology, but history,
You know what?
and
I
be
would
like
say
spanning the
probably-
globe.
It's a good blend of National Treasure and Da Vinci Code, because National Treasure has all those random like facts and storytelling,
The
going
historical
all the way,
aspects.
whereas
Yeah,
Da Vinci Code had that kind of religious context, which is something that Indiana Jones really harps on too. Is every movie focuses on around some sort of religious, usually Christianity for most of them this trilogy, but obviously the second one was not
I
Christianity
mean,
whatsoever. But
yeah, that's true. If we want to get down to the brass tacks of what these movies are,
I love brass tacks.
yeah. Well, I
I
mean,
hate any other kind of tack.
yeah, true. I just think what they do so well is they're like, hey, Indiana Jones is gonna fight some Nazis. He's gonna get the Ark. It's gonna be a religious theme to it, but we're
That was
gonna
an
have a
A as
good
far
time.
as fighting Nazis, by the way. I wasn't like, yeah, Nazis. I
No,
just
no,
want to
no.
make that clear.
No, you're good. You're good. I think if you like combine all the elements of this movie, you're like, oh yeah, how could this not succeed? Like,
You
it's
have a
just
worse director at the helm. You have
right.
a less charismatic actor as Indiana Jones. There are plenty
No,
of
no.
ways that this couldn't work, but they had the right
I'm with
people in
you.
place.
I'm with you that it could not work. But when you combine all the elements and then you have these two with Spielberg and Ford, I mean, it's a dynamic duo. Like, I don't know what Spielberg had to say to Ford, like on set to get him into like character, but that man was dialed and he was ready to go. And
Well,
yeah, it was awesome.
Harrison Ford had a good working relationship with George Lucas. You know, they did American
Yep.
Graffiti before Star Wars. He had done 2 Star Wars movies already, so he knew that if he worked with George Lucas and people in that sphere, that he
Well,
was in good hands. And this was the movie that, you know, Han Solo was already a cultural icon, but when you stack Indiana Jones on top of it, I mean, Harrison
yeah,
Ford just kind of ascended into another level of
I
just
mean, this is
superstardom
his
with this
role,
movie.
right?
and not
This
only
is,
that, but
yes, I don't want anyone else to play this role because Harrison
yeah.
Ford plays Indiana Jones perfectly. He is
But to stack
Indiana
on top
Jones.
of that, you bring on the writing cast too, because on top of George Lucas, you also have Lawrence Kasdan, who also worked with George Lucas on writing Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, and then going forward, Force Awakens as well. But for that time period, I think Empire came out right before Raiders, if I'm correct.
Or it was very similar timeline.
Empire came out in 1980, and then
Yeah.
Yeah.
Raiders of the Lost Ark came
Yeah,
out in
so
1981.
you already have this team that's worked on this big sci-fi movie, so you kind of already have that collaboration going. So I feel like that helps a lot going into a new movie, new cast and everything. If you already have an actor familiar with the director and the writing staff, that it's much more fluid and works together much better. And you definitely see that on screen because I think this is one of the few movies where you actually see Harrison Ford look like he's actually enjoying himself.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like he's one of those actors that like he just has that. He's just known for always looking grumpy or sounding pissed off, even though that's just kind of his
Yeah,
personality.
even Han Solo is kind of like that, prickly. Yeah,
But
like
I think this is like his only
personality.
character where like, he actually looks like he's having fun.
Mm.
Well, let's get into some of the plot specific points because it's funny that you say that because one of the most iconic scenes in the movie was not fun at all for him to shoot. This movie's about Indiana Jones, archaeologist who is going up against the Nazis trying to find the Ark of the Covenant, and he's teamed up with a former flame of his played by Karen Allen. One of the scene, I mean, I everyone knows the scene at the beginning where they're trying to get some idol of some sort,
Mhm.
and the scene where the balls kind of rolling down after Indiana Jones. It's an iconic way to start a movie, but the moment that I knew that I wasn't just going to love this movie, but it might flirt with Hall of Fame status, was the scene, the sword fight that wasn't.
Yeah.
Because originally there was supposed to be a big sword fight, not quite towards the middle of this movie, but close enough to it. And instead, it's an iconic scene where this guy's going around, throwing around his sword, doing tricks with it, and Indiana Jones just takes out his gun and shoots him right then and there. That was supposed to be a big sword fight, but apparently there had been some issue with the food on set that day, and Harrison Ford was not feeling well. And he's like, what if I just did this instead? and we cut out that whole thing, and they just rolled with it, and
Steven was like, I
instantly
think you're a
iconic.
genius. Yeah, Steven was
Yeah.
like, I think you're a genius. Let's do it.
Which is kind of funny because it definitely worked. But I feel like that's the only scene where you ever see Indiana Jones use a gun, like to actually shoot somebody.
No, I think it is. Yeah, which just makes it hilarious. Because he could have used like his whip and like stole the sword and then shot him.
That's what you
but
see
he just,
most
but
of
he
the
just
time.
shoots
His whip
him.
is his
Yeah,
go-to.
But he just shoots him.
Well,
But-
that I did read into that, Mitchell, that whole story, and that actually was how it was supposed to play out. Was he was supposed to use his whip to get one of the swords, and it was supposed to start a whole big sword fighting scene. And obviously, they did multiple takes. You know, his stomach wasn't doing good, and he's like, "Look, we got to do something different. Can we just try shooting him?" And that's what they went with. But
it's just funny if you're Spielberg in that situation because you have $20 million in this movie. It's your vision, but then Harrison Ford comes to you and is like, "Hey, man, like, I know this is supposed to be like a big fight scene in the middle of the movie, but like, what if I just do this?" And Spielberg is like, "Yeah, dude, like that actually works. Like, let's roll with it. Let's put it in the movie." Like,
you also have to think, like back in
I don't
those
know.
film, like footage was so expensive, so it's like you have situations where it's like you're going to do multiple takes, and if people aren't feeling well, it's like, do we just cut our losses and just go with this improvised scene? And
Or do we just go with a take that isn't good too? It's like
Yeah.
they could have had a bad take in the movie, and instead they pivoted. And yeah, I mean, I think it's one of the better scenes because it does set up like the fact that Indiana Jones, being who he is as a professor and archaeologist, like he looks at situations like differently than other people does. So in that case, he's like looking at the situation. He's like, "Well, I have a gun. Let me just shoot the guy. Like it's gonna be okay." But like, I feel like most situations he doesn't have a weapon, which is kind of funny that he's in all these different like adventure scenarios and scenes, and he doesn't have weapons on him, which is kind of funny. But yeah,
That's a really good point you bring up. This movie puts him in a lot of different situations that feel impossible. I mean, you've got let's talk about the scene with the trucks where
yeah, the trucks is insane.
where he's climbing all around and trying to get into the trucks or vans or whatever. I mean, that's basically a 1980s version of what we see Tom Cruise doing in these Mission Impossible movies.
Yep.
And it was all, you know, Harrison Ford doing stunts, and it's all stuff that looks fantastic in action that, you know, for nearly 45 years ago, still really holds up to this day as exciting and investing and fun to watch. And, you know, props to all the actors involved, but Steven Spielberg just really knows how to film action. We talked about that a lot with Saving Private Ryan and that opening scene that everyone holds in such high regard. But this, while not having the violence that did, had a very, I don't want to say similar level of intensity, because I don't know if anything matches up to the level of intensity of the first 25 minutes of Saving Private Ryan, but you definitely feel the stakes and you feel the level of impossibility that we talked about in the Mission Impossible reviews.
And I think kind of what goes into the magic of that is the fact that you can see that it's real effects, it's real stunts. Like there's no CGI involved. Whereas like nowadays when you see movies that have so much CGI, you're like, yeah, that's clearly fake. Whereas this, like, even though like, you know, during the fight scenes, you can tell they're throwing fake punches. You know, there's like the sound cards behind it for the punch sounds. Like, you know,
can I just say the Foley work in this is hilarious.
Yeah,
like it is very.
But that's
funny.
part of the fun, though.
It
Like,
kind of
you can
adds to
tell
the
it-
charm, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, but like it
I don't really
works. Like,
dock it points.
I don't
I'm not
want to
talking-
dock it either. I just think it's funny. Like
I think that's part of what makes it a fun movie. Is like you see the stunts, you know, it's the real actual stunts. There's no
The best
CGI
word for it is
crap in
timeless.
there. Yeah, and it just holds up, and it's just
the
fun
sounds. The
And
sounds when a fist hits a face is just
Yeah.
classic. Like I think other movies try to capture it. Like they try to capture that like sound effect, and I don't think they do a good job. Like it looks like weird, but this, like Mitch was saying, it's timeless. Like I can still watch it, chuckle a little bit, and still be like, oh, but I like it. Like it works.
to watch. And this is where we have to give credit to the score because They do. I mean, one, Indiana Jones is another one of those classic scores that everybody knows.
I was humming it the whole day in my head after watching these movies. I was like,
but
dun, dun, dun. Yeah, I
it's
mean,
one
it's
of
just
those,
so
it's
good.
adventurous, it's lighthearted, it's fun, and you, especially when you're hearing the fight scenes, it's like the music is like lighthearted, like it's fun to listen to, and it doesn't
John
really
Williams
amp up
back
the
at
story.
it again.
Yeah,
I mean, is there anything this guy can't do? I mean,
no.
I would say that Hans Zimmer is probably my goat, but John Williams, he's a blockbuster like genius. I mean, he comes up with blockbuster scores and sounds that are just iconic and unique
Yeah,
and
like
different.
the day he passes away or retires is the day Hollywood is gonna go down a big notch, because the amount of
Yeah, I
movies
don't know
he's
how you
done and the
can't
amount of
replicate
timeless
it.
scores he's done, like there's no replacing him.
And I do think it's funny that basically every single time there's like a tense moment in this entire trilogy, they play the Indiana Jones theme, which I think is just like adds a layer of like, this is kind of like corny, but it's also like cool because it's the Indiana Jones theme and I like hearing it. And so I think there's like a level of that too. Like it, you could probably argue that it gets overplayed, but it's such a good theme that I don't mind that it's overplayed. Like I'm like, yeah, play it as much as you want. Like I don't like, it sounds awesome. Like you're saying, like it's fun, which is, I don't know, it just adds to it. Spielberg, I mean, we said it with Jaws. I mean, I feel like he's the creator of the blockbuster. Like he's the creator of like, this is a summer movie, come watch it. Like that's who he is, and I
Yeah.
don't know, he just captures it, and John Williams captures it in his music as well, which is just freaking awesome, to be quite honest.
I think every now and then you get a director that is both big time box office and also just the king of the critics and the audience. I think that you had Alfred Hitchcock before Steven Spielberg, where he
It's a
brought
good
people
example.
out, but also was able to get awards and critics loved him. Then you had Steven Spielberg, and now I think Christopher Nolan is kind of that guy where if you just have his name on the poster, your average Joe, I'm not saying, best filmmaker, even though probably for me, those are the best ones. Your average Joe that doesn't pay attention to movies the way that we do is gonna know who that is and be excited to see that movie because, oh, I've seen his movies before, and every time I leave extremely happy with what I've seen. Indiana Jones also in this movie gets his ass beat quite frequently. He is not invincible. He's not
That's who he is.
invulnerable. And at the end of the movie, like quite literally, he loses. Like the Nazis get the Ark of the Covenant. Now, what happens after that? I don't think the Nazis were particularly
The man
rooting
is a
for that to go
genius.
down like that. But at the end of the movie, the guy lost. And the only reason why he quote unquote succeeds is because he's smarter than the bad guys. But when it comes down to it, after all the effort that he put in, all the big fight scenes, after everything that went down, and I also can relate to Indiana Jones, especially because I fucking hate snakes too. They're number one on my fear list. So Indiana Jones, I get that. So, but he loses,
Arachnophobia, yeah.
and then comes the scene that again I saw this movie for the first time when I was like 8 or 9 years old. So that was traumatizing as hell. Which this series definitely has a profound impact on childhoods, I guess, and the traumatization thereof.
Arachnophobia is spiders. Ophodia is what it is.
Whether it's a phobia, a phodio, a
I think it's
whatever
a
the hell it
phodio.
is, I got it.
I think it's a Fidio or whatever. I don't know.
You've said like 8 different things,
yeah,
man.
whatever. The point is that these snakes aren't even that bad. I mean, it's
Yes,
not
they
like he
are.
has a python wrapping around his like body or something. I mean, I think we might get to that as we get down the line. But
Well,
I mean,
Brandon,
scene where they
we'll throw you
basically
in a
bury
snake
him
pit
in
and you
that
tell us
tomb.
how bad it is.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. I mean, if you were to get bit by these snakes, it would be annoying. But
Annoying. Getting bit by
yeah.
snakes is annoying. Brandon too. All right.
Well, okay, so since we're not jumping to the end, but like, do you want to talk
kinda
about him
did.
losing? Do you want to talk about him losing the arc, and then he cuts off he cuts them off and is like about to be like, well, I'll just blow the arc up, and then they're like, well, go ahead, it's your decision now, and he still decides not to blow up the arc. And in my head, I'm thinking, man, this guy is still calculated and measured even after like he does all this wild crap. He's still in his head. He's like, I can think about this logically. Like I probably shouldn't take a rocket launcher to this like Ark of the Covenant right here. But I don't know. It just seems funny to me.
He's so well known that like it's easy to call his bluff, and that's what they do. It's like, we know how much you care about these relics.
Yeah, you're an archaeologist.
History, like you're not just gonna go and blow this up. But I feel like that's the one plot device that is the only thing I don't like about this movie.
Oh, you don't like that plot?
It's not that I don't not like it, but it was brought up in a Big Bang Theory episode where they basically say the whole plot of this, like if you take Indiana Jones out, the story still plays out the same way it would, just minus Indiana Jones.
Sure, but I think that's what makes it funny.
This is why no one should watch The Big Bang Theory. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. That shit sucks.
I think it's pretty funny. I think that's what makes it funny though, because like if you take Indiana Jones out, then
everything
it's just
still happens.
Yeah, the Nazis still get obliterated by the Ark and everything.
It'll take a little bit longer, but they'll still find it. They'll still do whatever the fuck they do.
But the funny part
Where's
to
your
me
whimsy?
is, yeah, and look, we let's just jump to the ending, or like when they open the Ark, because
we already have.
I know, but those effects still hold up. Like the way it looks, the way it's shot, the way everything like comes together, still looks good. It still looks cool. And I was like, this is 1981. Like, what am I watching?
I don't know about
I was
looks good, because it's very definitely not, current times.
I mean, sure, it's not IMAX Dolby Vision,
but it's not. I'll tell you this: it's not Jaws. It's not Jaws 3. Okay,
I don't think it looks bad. I don't think it looks bad because, like, if you'd open the Ark of the Covenant, that's what I imagine would happen. I imagine that you would get swallowed by flames because that's what.
I think
the
some of the more practical effects, sure, but like the sky and all of that's the stuff that looks like
honestly,
this isn't great.
Evil Dead vibes.
Yeah, it just gave off Evil Dead. That's it.
I liked this movie, but
that's not bad. But Mitchell, we are critiquing the same movie that Foley like sounds in. They're like whack punches,
Yeah.
So we are critiquing on that level, I guess.
Speaking of critiquing, I know that Tommy and I are going to go in on a certain aspect of Temple of Doom, so we've got to give props here when they do it right. I really like Karen Allen in this movie. I think that her and awesome. Indiana Jones, Marion Ravenwood. I mean, that first scene of them drinking in the bar. I mean, that's just that was a fantastic introduction to character.
When she gets drunk with Renee, I'm like, this is a great scene.
A strong, badass feminine character that
you
don't really see much in 80s movies. Like, I feel like her and like Princess Leia are like probably the two like well-known ones from that time period that I can think of.
Well, they also do it without like, I feel like a lot of movies, maybe not as much in the 2020s, but definitely in the like mid to late 2010s. They almost had to like stand up and announce to everyone, this is a strong, independent woman, and we are going to tell you this over and over again rather than show you.
Yeah.
Right.
And I like, for example, I think that like Ballerina came out this year, and I think that Ana de Armas was fantastic in that movie. They did a great job of doing it without, having to stand up and be like, look at how great we are.
However you feel about Black Widow, like Scarlett Johansson, like her character,
Florence Pugh.
Yeah, Florence Pugh is a very good similar character in that sense. Like, you don't have to announce that like you're gonna be an independent authority. Like, just be the badass woman you are. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm with y'all. I liked her character a lot, and I think she's smart. She's cunning.
It is
he's
a
like, oh, so
crime that she does not come back in the second and third.
it is a crime. It is a crime.
I don't know what the reason was why they didn't want to bring her back. Like if she
The
had
dialogue between her and Indy in the like, I guess where the pit, I guess that's what we'll call it, the I don't really know what to call it, the pyramid, whatever you want to call it. Their dialogue in that, where he's like, oh, so now you're with Renee, and she's like, well, I had to get away from somebody. Oh, she's like, no thanks to you. I'm like, this is good. I'm like, this is good back and forth. Like, this is good right here. And I don't know if we get that for the rest of the trilogy, but we'll talk about that.
Even in the scenes when she doesn't have dialogue, like she's still showing how much of a badass she is. Like when she's in the tent where the guy
with Renee, right? Renee, yeah.
Like you see her cover up the knife real quick with the napkin, and then when they go to have a drink, like he's being like classy and like sipping it, she just downs it, and like the look on his face is like, oh, she knows how to fucking drink.
Right.
Oh
yeah.
boy.
He's like,
she just shows how much of a badass.
Can we talk about the Nazis real quick? Do we actually like them as villains? Because I have mixed feelings. I think it's a good villain. I think some of it's a little weird. It's like, oh, we meet again, Fräulein. Oh, nice to meet you, Fräulein. I'm like, can you just like get to the like? Can we just move the plot along, you guys? I don't know.
That dude with the stupid face. That guy was terrifying. Probably
Ronald
because
Lacey?
Yes.
Yeah.
That guy.
When he pulls
probably
out,
just because his face was just like, I'm sorry, that guy's face is horrifying.
When he pulls out the clothes hanger, and it looks like it's gonna it's like a whip or something. I don't know what he's about to do with it. And then she like her face all of a sudden like relaxes. She's like, oh, it's just a clothes hanger. She's like, oh, I thought he was gonna beat the shit out of me with that. I was like, oh, that's so funny.
What the hell is this?
Yeah. Yeah. So
what kind of fucked up shit is he about to do?
I do like the villain. Like I think most people would agree. Like if you have someone fighting Nazis are bad. But like at the end of the day, like I think it's a strong villain because like the characters that were like kind of playing it, you like it wasn't just like a throw in. It wasn't just like, oh, these like are Nazis. Like Ronald Lacey does a really good job. Like kind of looking like an evil person, like you're saying, like he looks like weird. I don't like him at all.
Period too, because like Nazis were known, like Hitler was known for wanting to go after relics and stuff like that. Like
there's a huge.
He was kind of a treasure hunter himself.
He's like he was interested in paganism. Like he liked a lot of that stuff, and it was kind of weird on his end that he like spent most of his time like trying to do this stuff. Like Monuments Men, I think, does a pretty good job of like capturing. Like he was going after all the like art and artifacts and stuff.
Pretty damn boring, but
no, I mean, whether you think that movie is boring or not, I'm just saying like capturing the storyline of like Hitler's into like fine art and like finding these like relics and finding these religious pieces, and I think him going after the Ark of the Covenant, I think it's well known that he was probably going after the Ark of the Covenant at some point, or at least the Holy Grail or something in that realm, like he definitely was trying to. So we'll get to that a little later, but I mean, it's just, I think it's funny.
Raid this thing.
I mean, Mitchell, I already said it before we hopped on. This is an A
for the listeners.
This is A+, 83.8.
Ooh.
Hall of Fame movie for me. I don't know if I'm going to have a lot of Spielberg Hall of Fame movies, but this is definitely one of them.
There's been less so far than I thought there would be.
Yeah.
Tommy?
This was an A+, 45% for me.
Okay. Still a good A+.
I'm going to come in between you guys.
But a Hall of Fame path.
We're not in the Hall of Fame, unfortunately.
No.
I'm giving it an A+, 62.51. You got to get to 75 to be in my Hall of Fame. I do think that I felt a little bit of... I think it starts really well and ends really well. I think there's a little bit in the middle where I just felt a little bit of a drag.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, again, it's an hour 55 minutes, so this isn't like some like
it's tight.
horribly... Yes, but it's not
the
as
whole
tight.
Is all around 2 hours.
Yeah. If I think that if it had just felt if the middle was just a little bit maybe more exciting,
I do
then
think
it
there's
would
a
have
lot
gotten
of
to that Hall of Fame.
exposition, the Nazis
Yes.
talking. Yeah, I mean,
Yes,
there's a lot
of that as well.
But I will say, for me, what really pushed it over the top to a Hall of Fame entry for me is just I think this sets the bar, as you said earlier, for all their action movies. And I think all their action movies, like you said, in the last 45 years, are trying to capture this essence. And I don't know if anyone's ever replicated what Spielberg and Harrison Ford was able to do as a duo.
I
So,
just
yeah.
had a shudder there for a minute. I have watched the 2 live action quote unquote Smurfs movies the last few days, and the amount of times I've heard Smurf essence,
Oh,
Brandon,
sorry,
you took me
sorry.
back to Vietnam there for a minute. Those are horrible, 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 horrible movies. In case you didn't know, please don't watch them, or do if you hate yourself and just want to die. Speaking of wanting to die, this next
Wow.
movie, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
It was not that bad.
I saw this movie for the first time about 10 years ago, and I hated it. Again, this one, Steven Spielberg, hotly anticipated, not just a sequel to Indiana Jones, but he directed E.T. in between these 2 movies. So another movie that everyone loved
A
and
banger.
everyone came out to see. A banger. That one also nominated for Best Picture. This one came out. It was when E.T. was nominated for Best Picture. Temple of Doom came out May 23rd, 1984, starring Harrison Ford, Kate Capshaw, and Ke Huy Quan.
Yes, sir.
Our boy.
We'll get to him momentarily. This was the number 3 highest grossing movie of 1984, made $179 million domestically, had a $28 million budget, $333 million worldwide, so another giant hit. Guys, can you name the other 2 movies, the 2 movies that outgrossed Temple of Doom in 1984?
Well, it wasn't the first Dune, that's for sure.
Correct. That's not it.
I gotta go Terminator and Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
You got 1 for 2.
That would be a good guess.
No, maybe Karate Kid?
Ooh.
Nope. Ghostbusters was number 2, but you're missing number 1.
Ghostbusters number 2.
What is it? 84.
Good movies this year. The Natural.
1984 was a very formative year for a lot of kids back then.
Yeah, The Natural, very good baseball movie.
You got Ghostbusters, Temple of Doom, Gremlins, The Karate Kid.
Was it Roadhouse or Red Dawn?
Ooh, Roadhouse is
No.
a great guess, I think.
Nope.
Oh wait, that's Roadhouse 66. Never mind. Wrong Roadhouse.
Yeah, I feel like the original Roadhouse is very underrated.
Also not Conan the Destroyer.
Is it Gremlins?
Ooh.
Nope. Not Friday the 13th, the final chapter either.
Okay, so not horror.
All right,
No.
Those are my guesses.
All right, so it was Beverly
Yeah.
Hills Cop.
Wow.
Really?
Comedy.
$234 million. Eddie Murphy was killing it
Okay.
in the early to mid 80s. So
Well, yeah, he was a hit.
he was a walking blockbuster on his own. But Temple of Doom was a movie that a lot of people were really, really looking forward to, and I mean it was the highest grossing movie worldwide in 1984.
Supergirl came out in 1984 too.
That did not make as much.
Well, I mean, yeah.
But this movie is, I think, out of the 3 Indiana Jones movies from the 80s, this is the movie that the plot is a little bit more difficult to explain. It's just they end up in a village, and then the villagers are like, "Hey, can you get this like sacred stone for us? It's in this like this cult has it or whatever," and they just kind of discover some awful stuff going on.
This is in India, right? I think is that what it is? I don't want to be like me. I don't know where they are.
Yes, it was in India.
Okay, they're speaking Hindi,
this-
so I assumed.
As far as Wikipedia is telling me right
Well,
now.
I think India is right, but like the idea is like the plot. I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but like it's just very different from the first
Honestly,
one.
if you said it doesn't matter, I'm not sure you'd be incorrect. It's about the set pieces the characters and the
Yeah.
shenanigans that these characters get into.
Right.
And I would agree that out of all of these movies, the plot, including 4 and 5, the plot matters the least in this movie right here.
Yeah.
And
I don't want to be mean, but I think we can wrap up this review of this movie in like 7 minutes. I mean, I don't.
we probably could, because again, there's not as much to talk. There's the awards we're not talking about for this. It did win for best visual effects, again, 1984. It was nominated for best score, but that's it. I liked this movie more than I thought that I would.
Yeah.
I still did not like the movie. And anyone that says, and people, this is extremely common for people in the 70s, like kids back then, to say, anyone that says that this is their favorite Indiana Jones movie, I do not trust you whatsoever with your movie opinion. I just don't. If you
It's
say
just you could pick between 1 and 3 and you decide to pick
correct,
this one.
if you pick Raiders or if you pick Last Crusade, that's fine. I have my opinion on the matter, but either of those two are fine. If you say Temple of Doom is the best one, your opinion is null and void. I just don't trust you whatsoever.
Is there more short round in this movie? I mean, that's the only reason I would even pick it.
I will say, and maybe the perspective of having seen Everything Everywhere All at Once and falling in love with Ke Huy Quan lends itself to that a little bit, but I really think that the presence of short round saves this movie from being something that I would hate. Because the relationship between him and Indiana Jones, I think, is the best part of this movie. They had a fantastic relationship, and they didn't just make him a doofus. It would have been so easy to make this character a doofus. He saves the day on multiple occasions, saves Indiana Jones' ass on plenty of occasions, and I thought that he was fantastic.
So I'm going to jump far ahead in the movie. I think my favorite scene in this film is in the very end battle scenes.
Can I guess?
Yes.
When Ke Huy Quan's character Short Round says, "He's not nuts, he's crazy." I think that is like one of the best lines of all time.
The best line in the movie is when he turns around to Kate Capshaw. You call him Dr. Jones. Like, that was the funniest shit. Like, I love that. But no, my favorite scene is when you see Harrison Ford beating up the one bad guy, and Ke Huy Quan is beating up the little kid, and you just see the two of them like in the same fight style, just like going at it.
Yeah,
that
was a great shot.
Showing the relationship.
It was such a good shot too.
It was visual storytelling, in that you didn't have to say that, like, all right, do what I taught you. It's just you saw from what they were doing that he learned from Indiana Jones, and it was fantastic. All the best stuff in this movie came from Ke Huy Quan and Harrison Ford. And you know why I really liked that part of the movie, that kind of like the end, when him and Indiana Jones are kind of fighting and going back and forth with the bad guys? Because Kate Capshaw wasn't involved. She wasn't talking.
Well, she was throwing rocks.
Anybody talking about this movie is going to talk about Kate Capshaw. It's going to happen. And by the way, in case you did not know who Steven Spielberg's wife is, that would be Miss Kate Capshaw.
That makes sense.
So, she didn't get a whole lot of other. I'm looking at her filmography after this.
Just didn't know until he just didn't know until.
Well, it's not even that, but the writing staff too. These are the guys that wrote Howard the fucking Duck. Like, that was another huge flaw for LucasArts. Like,
she didn't have great stuff to work with, but there's a reason why she wasn't in any other movies that I've ever heard of. Because she is.
Howard the Duck is interesting writing, though. I will give that. I don't think it's good, but it's interesting.
She is the worst thing in any Indiana Jones movie. And I mean, Shia LaBeouf was bad in Crystal Skull. Phoebe Waller-Bridge was bad in Dial of Destiny. But I think that Kate Capshaw in this movie is the
Shia LaBeouf is
the grand
not good.
poobah of shit.
Shia LaBeouf is not good, but he is nowhere near Kate Capshaw.
Correct.
Nowhere near Kate Capshaw.
And my biggest gripe with this trilogy is their lack of consistency with support
I
cast.
just don't
Support,
understand why
Yes.
why you don't bring
because
back.
like you start with the first movie, you have a phenomenal cast. I mean, John Rhys Davies is just this fun character. Karen Allen, phenomenal female actress.
Hell, if you bring back the Nazis and you bring back Ronald Lacey, I mean, I know he dies,
Well,
but I mean,
well,
you know, what I
That
mean?
would be
Like,
ridiculous.
yeah.
well, here's the weird thing though. Like the part I didn't realize, like Raiders of the Lost Ark took place in 1936. That was like right at the start of the Nazi Party. This movie is actually a prequel. It's not a sequel. It's a prequel.
Yeah, I did notice it was
I didn't know that
1935.
either
I
until
was
I was
like,
doing research into
interesting.
this.
Yeah.
Because the reason is they didn't want to do Nazis again in this film. So
Sure.
they're like, well, we'll just do a prequel so we don't have to worry about having any continuality issues or anything like that.
Yeah. Continuity with the
Thank
Nazis.
you. I was trying to figure out the right word.
Yeah, you're good.
Um,
So, but my whole thing is like, not that the Nazis work as a villain for Indiana Jones. I think they do, and I think it's very clear they do. But even if you give Indiana Jones this plot and you give him these like evil characters or villains, it's just I don't care anything that happens in this Temple of Doom. And honestly, to be quite fair, it's kind of weird that they have like child slaves. There's like some weird stuff going on. Like, not really sure what they're doing in that temple, to be quite honest. So I was just completely out of it. I mean, yeah, it was bad guy shit, but I was just out of it. I was like, who cares about this temple? Just give me Short Round and Indiana Jones. Like, I don't really care about anything else in this temple. And I guess that's on me for like not caring, but like Mitchell says, you can kind of just take the plot out of it. Like, the plot, it just doesn't, I feel like it doesn't matter. Like, I don't know, it just doesn't hit the same way, which is weird, but it just doesn't.
but going back to my point before, is you have this great cast in the first movie.
Sure, yeah. Which is your ultimate point. Yeah.
If you took Kate Capshaw and replaced her with fucking Karen Allen, this movie would have been 1,000 times better. And
if you have the original cast and you add the original cast and you add Ki Hoi Kwan in, it's slam dunk movie. Slam dunk.
Like,
Sure.
but that's like, so you have the first movie, you have the second movie. Had you replaced Capshaw with Karen Allen, you're like, all right, you have this really cool cast of the three of them. And then the third movie came around. If you had Karen Allen, Ke Huy Quan, plus Sean Connery into the mix, that would have been even better of a movie. But they didn't keep all the cast, and it's just like, I don't understand what their reasoning for that.
Do you think it's like a storyline thing? Like,
I don't know.
Like, that's the only thing I can think of, is that like you just don't want to bring Karen Allen along because like it's Indiana Jones, so it's like
they wanted to do another like enemies to lovers type thing, except they never actually really go anywhere with that, which makes sense because I never bought anything between them whatsoever. They had no
there
chemistry
was way more
whatsoever
between Short Round and
I bought more that they were gonna fuck more than Indiana Jones.
Whoa, that's not what I was saying.
I wasn't thinking that at all.
This was the first movie where when they were lowering her down into the fire, I'm like, thank God.
Kill her. You know.
Part of me.
It's the same feeling I get with Shia LaBeouf in the fourth movie where he's climbing on the vines and fall.
I was watching on a tablet, so I think it was like 10 inches or whatever. And part of me was like going, in my head, I was like, oh, please let her burn. Please let her burn. Please let her burn. I was like, I need her gone for this movie. Like, I hope she dies. And I felt so bad about it, but I was like, her character is so bad. It might be the worst character in a action film, period.
It's not the character, it's just her acting. It's just like the constant whining and screaming.
I mean, yeah.
I think the character's part of that.
Though. It's not even good. Like, the way she acts it out, it's just you could tell it's fake.
Right.
Correct. Yeah, you don't buy anything going on with her for a second.
Honestly, when they're in the car, when they're in the what are they called, carts or whatever, and they're going down, I'm like, yeah, I don't know what
the mine carts.
Yeah, the mine carts. When she wasn't saying anything, I was like, oh, this is the best acting. It's like, we need to stop. Don't say anything.
I will raise a second complaint because it's not just Kate Capshaw. I feel like this movie and Raiders of the Lost Ark, I don't want to say got the ball rolling because I don't.
The villains just aren't as good.
But
I mean,
but the this was the movie that really got the PG-13 thing going, because this was rated PG, and a lot of parents were like, "Okay, what the fuck?"
Well, yeah, you got guys pulling hearts out of people's chests.
Exactly.
Oh yeah,
This
I don't
movie
know how this was
feels-
PG.
because there was only PG or R. It was
Oh,
G,
that's
PG, or
dumb.
R. This movie created the PG-13.
Okay,
People were like, all right,
that
we need
makes a lot of
something
sense.
else in between the two.
Because
But
like,
I feel like this movie just was gross for the sake of being gross. They just, hey,
Love
let's
that
have them
too.
eat a bunch of weird shit, have a bunch of creepy crawlies, and have people doing things like pulling hearts out of the chest and stuff. Like, I feel
Again-
like it was just nasty for the sake of
Right.
being nasty rather than there being a point to it. And they just kind of like, when she has to put her hand in that thing to get them out of the trap, and there's like, it just felt gross for the sake of being gross rather than there being a point
I-
to
I
it.
think
there was
my whole point with like talking about the temple Tommy was being like, I just, it was gross. I didn't care about it. Like it's like, why are we here? Like what?
I wouldn't even say it was gross. It was just different because I kind of like that in a sense because you get kind of like the East meets West like culture,
Sure.
like, and that was kind of part of it where you have Indiana Jones who is obviously a world explorer, world traveler. He's very well versed in everything. So like,
And he's like, oh, we got cannibals here.
yeah, but he's like, he knows the customs. Like, he didn't like the food either, but he knew that respect was more important than going, ew, gross, like, get this out of my face. And that was kind of
So
a skill set that comes in handy for him because he is able to get around, whereas Kate Capshaw's character just goes, ew, gross. And he's
did
like,
we
shut up, you're insulting them, eat the food.
did we not like the character that pulls the hearts out of people? Because at least that was an interesting like plot line. You know what I mean? Like,
All right.
Eh.
I didn't not like this movie.
I think it was
hated
funny when
Kate
Short Round
Capshaw's
was like,
character.
"Cover your heart, Indy," and then he immediately
I
goes to
also,
them.
the plot, there wasn't really much of a plot to this one because
There's no plot.
I'm trying to
There's no
explain
plot.
the rest of it. Like the first, like Raiders of the Lost Ark, like there was a set, like you knew everything from the beginning to end. This is how it's going to happen. Whereas this one, you're in, I think China, and there's this whole
At one point, yes.
with these Chinese basically mafia, and then all of a sudden you're falling out of a plane, and now you're in India, and now you got to deal with these mythical shamans, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Shamans is a good way of putting it.
And then at the very end, it's just like, all right, that's it.
Oh, the way they defeated
Like,
the way
whole
they
thing
defeated
was-
them though.
There was no like, none of that panned out. It's like, what was the point of all that?
Do you know what the worst line in the entire movie is? Is when one of the armies shows up. Well, yeah, the ending is bad. But one of the armies shows up and Kate Capshaw's character goes, "Oh, it's about time." And I was like, "You gotta be kidding." I was like, "Please get off the screen." I was like, "I can't take this anymore."
No,
I was
the
like,
best line of the movie, I think, was in the beginning when the head Asian mafia guy was like, "Killer, we'll just get another woman." I'm like, "Yes, please do. Save us the misery for the next 2 hours."
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with you there.
"Please find any other character to play this part. Thank you." Actually, we don't even need a woman character. We don't need a love interest here. We just Indiana and Short Round have this covered. Like,
it was very clear that she was there for one reason and one reason only, and that was a love interest that never actually amounted to
So,
anything.
she
So
had a
I'm
crush
ready to
on
grade
Harrison
this
Ford.
damn thing.
my whole
Sure, I was
summation.
to put her in the movie.
My whole summation of this movie is Indiana is cool, Short Round is cool, Kate Capshaw is bad. The end.
Yep.
Like, yeah, that's basically it. But even as bad as she is, I am still gonna give this a C 10.5.
Okay.
I like Short Round and Indiana. I don't like anything else, but I like Indiana and Short Round.
I think you and I are on the same page. I gave it a C plus 90.
Okay.
I enjoyed the movie. I just hated Kate Capshaw.
Yeah. Kate Capshaw
I
brings this movie down
wish Kate Hoy
significantly.
would have came back for another movie after this.
Now, 10 years ago, I had this in like the D level.
Are you down?
Oh, Dial of Destiny stuff right there. Yeah.
No, that's lower. I gave this a C minus 5.45, and
Okay.
it really that I don't think this is a good movie, but I think a lot of the talent on screen and just the pure charisma of Harrison Ford and Ke Huy Quan brings this up to
Thank
a
you
level
for
of being
blessing us.
respectable, and not being a complete and total train wreck for me. Now,
I mean, if we
folks,
start this next movie,
we're
can
in
we-
an interesting situation, and we're gonna do a very, very abbreviated review of this movie because young Brandon here forgot to watch Indiana Jones
I have seen
and
it
the
in the
Last
last 2 years.
Crusade.
We can review it.
I don't know how to move forward with this because this is a fantastic movie, and I think that a lot of people over the course of the last few years, it has become a lot more commonplace for people to say that they like this movie more than the first one. Whereas a decade ago, it would have been, all right, very clearly Raiders of the Lost Ark, Last Crusade, and then whatever the hell afterwards. But now you have a lot of people saying that Last Crusade is the best one, about as much as Raiders of the Lost Ark, if we're being honest. And this was, again, Steven Spielberg back at the helm, thank God. Harrison Ford, Denholm Elliott returning. But you've got Sean Connery here playing Indiana Jones' father, Henry Jones Sr., and
Moab, Utah. That's apparently where they live. I don't know. Anyway.
Okay. I was
Sorry.
like, did you just make up a character?
No, I didn't just make up a character. Sorry.
This was the second highest grossing movie of 1989. Can you name the other one?
1989. I might be able to
the
name
highest
that
grossing
without
movie
even
of
thinking about it.
1989. This one should not be as difficult. It is not On Golden Pond 2.
Oh, good.
Is it Born on the 4th of July?
Is it Glory?
Good Lord, you guys are bad at this.
How is
you
Glory
so
a bad
bad at
guess?
this?
How is Glory a bad guess? I don't.
Oh,
Glory is a bad.
Batman.
It's a bad guess.
Batman.
Yeah, thank you. Glory's a bad guess because it was 45th, Brandon. That's why it's a bad guess.
Well, you could argue that Glory's better than Batman, so suck it.
I would. This isn't what made the best movie. I said
they are two very, very different movies. So
Yeah.
I'm not even
I
trying to
agree
compare.
with
Batman-
you. I agree with you.
Batman 89 with Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson was the highest grossing movie of 1989, but Last Crusade was number 2. It was actually the highest grossing movie worldwide. This movie had a $48 million budget, made $474 million. So this thing just continues to make money hand over fist. And you said it, Brandon. You said, hey, maybe the Holy Grail. This is the one where they search for the Holy Grail in 1938. Again, Nazis are
If I had
involved.
no idea that that was the plot point, I would still be like, that'd be a cool Indiana Jones movie. Like to go after Holy Grail Nazis. Like, oh, that'd be a cool Indiana Jones movie. Like, yeah.
This movie, the plot matters more than Temple of Doom. But it's almost like maybe it doesn't, because the whole point of the movie is the relationship between Indiana Jones and his dad. And if you don't buy that relationship between Harrison Ford and Sean Connery, then the movie's not going to work for you. Yeah. And if you watch this movie and their relationship doesn't work for you, again, you suck, you're an asshole. Because I think this movie is fantastic. I think they work really well together. And this movie has some of the most iconic moments of the whole franchise, even including Raiders of the Lost Ark. You've got the iconic scene transition at the beginning of the movie where the older guy's putting the hat on young Indy, played by River Phoenix, and then it transitions to Indiana Jones getting punched in the face later in the movie, and it's
the Nazis are back.
It's
back.
Tremendous stuff. You've
We
got
are
a
in our
scene that's
wheelhouse.
a scene that's been memed to death with Indiana Jones going up. He's one-on-one with Adolf Hitler, and he has exactly what Hitler's looking for with that book. And what does Hitler do? He signs it and just gives it back to him, which is one of the most hilarious things I've ever seen in a movie, if I'm being 100% honest. And I
But
think
I kind of
was,
buy it. I kind of buy it.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. So blinded by ambition that, yeah, can't see what's right in front of them. And then the whole thing at the end where, again, you kind of have a test, like the Ark of the Covenant. You can't look at it, and then the Holy Grail. You have all these different tests by this knight this ancient knight that's been there forever. I don't really know if this is a movie that you can really go step by step on, like, oh, I liked this, I like that. This is just kind of a movie that I feel in its totality more than individual scenes, if that makes any sense whatsoever. I think that this is maybe the most rewatchable Indiana Jones movie for me personally. It's the longest one of the bunch so far at 2 hours and 8 minutes, but unlike Temple of Doom or at some points Raiders of the Lost Ark, I don't feel it as much. Now I
Yeah, I
am one
don't
of those
feel the
people.
plot.
I am one of those people that thinks that Raiders is the better movie, and I think a lot of that is because the action scenes in Raiders of the Lost Ark are just shockingly good and incredibly entertaining. Whereas this, I think, is a lot more focused on the relationship between Indiana Jones and his dad.
See, I would argue the opposite because I feel like Last Crusade upped the stunts and the fight scenes and the chase scenes. I mean, you have a plane scene, you have a train scene in the very beginning, you have a blimp, you've got the motorcycle chases. Like,
Yeah.
I
The
feel like
motorcycle chase is
they
good.
had a very big variety of action scenes in this movie. And then you have the great
The poster is also iconic. I mean, I think
the secret door rotating
yeah.
door scene. Like, that was great.
See, I look at those as more of, and maybe I'm just dead ass wrong. I look at those like Raiders of the Lost Ark is, I think, the best adventure movie, but it's also a great action movie. And I look at the scenes in this more as adventure than action,
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
which maybe I'm just reading it incorrectly, but I think it is a lot more of those, like, we have to rely on our knowledge
It
of
does
history
bounce
and ancient
around.
artifacts.
Also, the plot bounces around like country to country, like quite a bit. I feel like way more than Raiders does, and I could be wrong about that, but there is a little bit of like bouncing around in terms of the plot and like what they're asked to do, and like yeah, I don't know.
I also
and I
didn't
did
really
want to
like
mention
the comedic aspect of Brody. I thought that kind of detracted from
yeah,
some things a little bit.
Yeah,
I
it
do
wasn't really needed.
no it. I
It
I
kind of
guess
just made him a bumbling doofus.
I'll definitely rewatch this. But I've seen this within the last 2 years because I saw all these movies before I went and saw Dial of Destiny. So I've seen this recent enough to probably talk about it. But I do also, when I think about Indiana Jones, I think about like this movie poster and just like how it's set up and like him riding the horse and like the two, like Sean Connery's, like his dad is on the poster, he's on the poster. Like when I think about Indiana Jones, I think about like how this movie looks. And I don't know, part of me thinks that George Lucas and Steven Spielberg got together and they were like, okay, Temple of Doom, not our best. Let's get back to what works. Let's Nazis. Let's get back to it.
It does feel more of a back to basics approach.
But I do think it's funny that they called it the Last Crusade because I'm sure they were thinking like, okay, this is gonna be the end, like it's gonna be the trilogy, and then they made more
Should've
movies,
been.
and I was like, okay, so like, why not?
It
Why
was
didn't-
the Last Crusade because it was the last quest for the Grail because the Grail was
Yeah.
destroyed at the end of the movie. In a
Sure.
scene that I thought was a little ridiculous when you have Harrison holding I forget her name, but the only
You could
female
call
character in
this-
this movie,
Yeah.
trying to reach for the Grail. She falls and dies, and then all of a sudden he's trying to grab it, and Sean Connery's holding him, and he's doing the same thing, like, oh, I can almost grab it, like, let me try and do it.
Oh,
And
you talking about
Connery's
Allison
like,
Dottie?
Let it go. Just
Are you
let
talking
it go.
We're talking about Allison Doty.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that what you're talking about? Okay, I don't know.
But yeah, that's kind of become the motto of the franchise. That everyone's just like, hey, just let it go, man. It's done. It had its time. We don't need to reboot anything, redo anything. Let it go.
I will be
Yeah.
honest though, I was a little disappointed. They really lost out on a real comedic note that they could have done during one of the the trials to get to the Grail. If they had the guy from Monty Python, the Holy Grail,
I
Oh,
with the
that
kept
would
three
have
thinking
been
questions,
about
funny.
that the whole
That would have been
scene.
funny.
with the three questions, I was like, if they threw him in there, that would have been perfect.
I kept thinking about that, and I
'Cause-
don't know, maybe that was part of the problem for me. I don't know.
Because that movie.
Between that and Brody being like, "Oh, I guess the pen is mightier than the sword." Oh, shut the fuck up.
Monty Python was made before this, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
that was
So yeah.
75. I want it was mid 70s.
So like they could have leaned into like, and I think it became a cult classic by then. So they probably
yeah.
could have leaned to that if they really wanted to. But I guess my whole ultimate point with like the title of the movie, I don't really care about like the Last Crusade, them calling it that, because I think they thought it was over and then it wasn't because they realized they could make more money. But you could call this Indiana Jones and the Holy Grail, and I don't think anyone would blink. They'd be like, "Oh, good title! Like now I know what they're going after." But I mean, at the end of the day, like we were saying earlier, it's a back to basics type of movie for them, and I think it's a good way to end the original trilogy, which I guess is what we should call these Indiana Jones like 3 movies is the original trilogy, and then whatever the last 2 are is what we could talk about. Which again is just very interesting that they made a movie in 1989 and then they decided to circle it all back. But I don't know. I like this movie. I don't think it's as good as the first one. But if that's your opinion that you like this one more than the first one, I don't like hate that opinion. I don't think that's like wrong necessarily, because I think this one's a really good movie. So yeah, I liked it, and I liked it when I watched it about 2 years ago. So yeah, I'll be interested to see how I feel about it
Yeah,
when I rewatch.
Last Crusade is at 117 on the IMDb top 250.
Yeah, that makes sense
Raiders
to
of the
me.
Lost Ark's at 59.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense to me. No, good.
Temple of Doom is not on there.
Well, it's Temple of Doom even being like the top 5,000? Like, oh my god.
Let me see what the number was for this thing.
Do we want to go ahead and rate it? Or what to talk about?
Yeah, probably. It was 7.5. So Temple of Doom still, there are a lot of people that really do enjoy that movie.
That's insane.
I gave Last Crusade, and I'll go first because I probably am a little lower than I think Tommy is. I'm at an A, 57.64. I love the movie. I'm not as enthusiastic about it as other people are, but it is by far the second best Indiana Jones movie.
Yep.
Not even close.
This one just crept into the A+ range for me. So it's like A+, like 5%. Like it's up there.
Nice.
Yeah.
I had a fun time with it.
I believe when I watched it 2 years ago, I would put this in like the A70 range. You know, I think it's a good movie. I'm with Mitchell. I think it's the clear second best Indiana Jones movie, and I don't really think there's a lot of a competition. I guess that's spoiling the next 2 movies that we're about to review, but we'll see.
Well, yeah. Next week, Brandon said, this was a good movie. I don't really think we'll be saying that too much next week when we talk about Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull and Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Now, maybe someone comes back to it and says, you know what, actually, I kind of like this or I kind of like that. But
that's what I want. I want to like see a couple of scenes and be like, oh, I actually kind of like what they did there. Like, I don't hate it.
I'd love that for that to happen. I don't expect it, but I would be very happy if it did. So we'll see what happens next week, guys. Yeah, and those are longer movies, so get ready. I think Dial of Destiny is nearly 3 hours long, so